Welcome ladies and gents, my name's Camel and I just got back from E3, which of course was a blast as always, but the highlight of it all, and what was a literal blast, was getting hands-on with Doom Eternal. Now I played the demo that they had available 4 times, once after the showcase, twice in the public area at E3, which was about 30 minutes of hands-on, and once as media, which was an hour of hands-on. So getting to play it 4 times across a total of over 2 hours let me really explore the level and experience it each time with a new approach and experiment with the game mechanics and level design, which hopefully has given me an insight into Doom Eternal that not many others outside of id Software have. Now capturing footage was of course not allowed at the event, so all the footage you will be seeing is not mine but instead B-roll, but still it gets the point across perfectly. Now in short, Doom Eternal took Doom 2016's yardstick, stuck it into the BFG and fired it into the deepest and craziest reaches of a creative space. I'll get into why throughout the video, but as a quick synopsis, Doom Eternal feels unofficial in the best way possible. It's like a completely unfiltered and pure creative vision, the kind of thing you would expect from an indie studio and not a AAA studio like id Software. It feels completely unchained and freed of modern industry safety boundaries. It's like id Software just hired the 100 biggest Doom fans and best Doom modders and told them to create and implement whatever crazy game components they could think of. And to be honest, it's nice to just see something crazy and creative from a big AAA studio. Now I did also have the chance to speak to some of Doom Eternal's devs, a lot of whom are young, late 20s, early 30-year-olds who grew up playing the original Doom games, and got into gaming in part if not entirely because of the original Doom games, and because of this, Doom Eternal feels entirely new, yet entirely nostalgic and true to the original concepts of Doom and Doom 2. With just a big injection of modern day bleeding edge tech, which makes Doom Eternal exactly what you think it is, and then some. Now I don't really know where to start with this, so let's touch on the hardcore throwback and referencing Doom Eternal has, the old school vibe that it gives off. So while there are many classic Doom enemies we've seen throughout all of the Doom games, Doom Eternal has really gone back to the original designs, and rather than reimagine them, it has taken the core concepts and characteristics that made each enemy their own and given them 2019 graphics. Everything from the shape, to their movement, to the way they attack, the way they sound, to their color palettes, to the way they bleed. Which might sound crazy, but like the Caco demon bleeds blue blood in the original games, and that's exactly what it does here in Doom Eternal. The imps look identical to their original design. Zombie security look exactly the same as they did 25 years ago. Even the freaking cyber demon looks just like the one that featured on the original Doom 2 box art. Of course I could go on and on, but you get the point. They went with polishing the old original soul of Doom to modern standards. They literally just gave all the fans what they wanted even if they didn't know they wanted it. I mean, they even brought back the oof noise that the player makes when they get hit. There are tons and tons and tons of these details and specifics that make Doom Eternal feel like I'm playing the originals, but in 2019. They've taken what we love about Doom and made it better. You know that thing that we always want but almost no studio can ever pull off? Well, it's done it. And along with the careful and faithful resurrection of the original soul and face of Doom, there are a ton of new and mind-bending implementations into Doom Eternal. I mean, as we would expect, the combat feels incredible. It's super fluid and feels like you're dancing almost, like there's a demonic beat to it. The weapons and gunplay are exactly what you would imagine when you think Doom. I mean, rotating barrel rapid-fire combat shotgun, I'm sold. But I won't bore you with what you already know Doom is and what you can see with your own eyes just by watching this. So for combat, in short, it's got the big old tick of approval. But while we're on combat, the biggest new thing is an ability called Blood Punch, which is charged by performing 2 glory kills. And it's a melee attack that does area damage and will jib smaller enemies and deal significant damage to bigger foes. Like everything else in Doom Eternal, it encourages you to get up close and personal and play as offensively as possible. You are the Doom Slayer, the demons fear you. Now when you charge Blood Punch, you'll hear this deep choir noise. and hear a similar noise when the ability is used. Some other peripheral things that are new and important are that we now have a flamethrower, we've got a goddamn sword on our arm, we have double dashing, we have double jumping, wall climbing, and all this leads to a level of maneuverability which really is something else. Not only does it help in combat, but the exploration and level design is totally beyond that of Doom 2016. A lot of these new traversal mechanics are responsible for allowing that. Between the meat hook on the super shotgun, the double jumping ability, the any direction double dash ability, the launch pads, the swing pipes, the teleporters, the wall climbing, it all comes together and opens up combat and exploration in a totally new light. But how it lends to Doom Eternal having a truly unique experience, for me at least, is the platformer elements in level design. We saw bits of this in Doom 2016, but in Doom Eternal, this is on a totally new level. Instead of going from combat arena, down some hallways to the next combat arena, we're faced with challenging and difficult traversal puzzles, like how the hell do I get from point A to point B? I need to jump onto the launch pad, swing off a pipe, double jump onto the climb wall, double dash across to the next climb wall, all the while being blasted by a cacodemon and with a legion of demons waiting for me at the top of the platformer puzzle. Now it might sound like a lot, but it's actually fantastic. Even the non-combat components of the game are equally as engaging. And again, this opens up a totally new dimension to exploration and secrets and level design and combat. I'm super pumped to make guides for this. Without a word of a lie, the most times I died in the demo at E3 was trying to figure out how the hell to get from point A to point B, which is really saying something because they ramped up the combat difficulty in Doom Eternal. In combat, you'll get your ass kicked, and getting from point A to point B, you'll kick your own ass by dying accidentally. Honestly, I cannot praise the platformer and puzzle elements of Doom Eternal enough. Swing pipes to launch into the air, pads we need to shoot to activate to open doors, chasms requiring double dashes, flaming spinning chains of death between platforms, extra dash boosts just so you can make it, punchable grates, underwater puzzles, drops into certain death. They even brought back the freaking rad suit and radiation from the originals. There are walls to punch through, blocks that need to be moved, chains that must be broken to open gates, and most of the time it's a bunch of these components mixed together with a healthy dose of enemies at the same time, making you think and act like a true predator, the Doomslayer. But yeah, I cannot praise this puzzle-esque platformer style of level design enough. It makes Doom Eternal a completely engaging experience even outside of combat. Now, something else that you may have noticed is that it feels a bit more like an arcade game. Instead of items and resources looking like they belong in the environment, they are instead literally unimmersed with the world and stand out like a sore thumb, glowing in color and floating and spinning around. From the throwback blue bottles to the floating green extra lives to the big yellow question marks for secrets to the new weapons being a retro green and floating in the air, so on and so forth, it's emphasizing that this is a video game and not some tear-jerking immersive story-driven experience. It's a big old video game in big old video game fashion, and it doesn't try and hide the fact that it's nothing more than a video game. Doom Eternal knows exactly what it is, and it's not afraid to show it. Now, something interesting about the gameplay was the resources. I found that the map actually lacked enough health, enough armor, enough ammo. However, this is intentional because if you use the flamethrower on an enemy, they will drop armor. If you do a glory kill on an enemy, they will drop health. And if you use the chainsaw on an enemy, they will drop ammo. So to actually survive, you are encouraged and pushed to use all of the tools at your disposal. I found that really interesting. Also, enemies in Doom Eternal are a lot smarter, most of which have unique mechanics and will F you up big time. Like you line up a headshot and as soon as you fire, the enemy will dash to the side, or throw up an energy wall in your face, making it all the more rewarding when you finally beat them. Now, the introduction of this so-called Destructible Demons is more than just aesthetic. If you hit an enemy in the right place, you can severely or even completely render them useless in combat. An example I got to experience is the gun on top of the Arachnotrons. Shoot that off and they can no longer pummel you with energy balls, or shoot the guns off the arms of the Mancubi and they can no longer shoot you. So every enemy has a totally different mechanic and approach that can be taken to take each out, and trust me, you'll need all of your toys for this. Also, the fact that you get extra lives shows that Doom Eternal is designed for you to die. You know, ammo is there because you use ammo, well, extra lives are there because Doom Eternal is going to kick your ass a lot harder than Doom 2016 did, creating a greater challenge and a greater reward. There are of course a ton of secrets and hidden areas tucked away, hiding weapon upgrades, collectibles, perks, health and armor increases, all that good stuff, encouraging the player to not only be aggressive in combat, but aggressive in exploration, which is something I love, and it makes me very happy that I'm going to get to explore the breathtakingly designed worlds of Doom Eternal. Now, the only negative things I experienced while playing Doom Eternal are all sound related. The music seemed to be really low in the mix, but then certain parts would be really loud. I don't know if the loud parts were for key moments or what, but it was noticeable, and sadly in the demo there were no sound options, so I couldn't adjust this for myself. But the other issues I had were also sound related, like every time I used the chainsaw, there wasn't really any noise to let me know I was using the chainsaw. Sometimes when I shot guns there were no firing noises, and sometimes when I killed enemies they made no death noises. All of these issues are also present in the B-roll footage that I have, and for the demo. So it wasn't just my particular version of the demo screwing up, but I would imagine that they got this B-roll footage from the exact same build, so hopefully it's just tiny little demo issues and it's not a big issue. But I do hope they get that sorted, because in the QuakeCon footage from last year, when the Arachnotron was killed, it made this death noise. And that death noise was 100% a throwback to the noise it made in the original Doom games, and that got me really excited. But then in this new footage, almost a year later, it makes no noise at all. I'm sure it's just some bug to do with the build of this demo, but in the 1% chance it's not, if any id Software developers are watching this, add it back in. Please add in all of the reimagined retro death noises and sound effects from the original Doom games into Doom Eternal. But apart from those demo-related peripheral audio issues, I have no complaints about Doom Eternal or what I experienced in the demo. I did see a lot of people worried about the user interface / HUD, and honestly, I didn't even notice it. I had zero issues with it. It's there, it tells you what you need to know, and with the amount of other crazy stuff happening on screen, it's not noticeable or bothersome, for me at least. So Doom Eternal is exactly what Doom is. It's a power fantasy, and you really feel that through the overly epic cutscenes, the eye-widening art style and design of every element of every level, the ridiculous soul-grinding soundtrack by Mick Gordon, and the excessively satisfying glory kills. As Marty said, it's not an immersive game. It's a video game with a capital V, and they want us to feel that at all times with aggression, the art styles, even the colors, and just the ridiculous scale and scope of the gameplay. But this game, Doom Eternal, knows exactly what it is, and it shows. I'm calling that this will be my game of the year. It's like Marco Pierre White says, perfection is lots of little things done well, and that's how Doom Eternal feels so far. All its little things are done really, really well. Is it perfect? We'll have to wait and see. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Camel, and this has been my best detailed rundown that I could give you of Doom Eternal, specifically with my over 2 hours hands-on with the demo of Doom Eternal at E3. Now, if you have any further questions, please feel free to ask them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. I do hope you thoroughly enjoyed it and learned something new about this awesome hellish game. If you know anyone who is keen for Doom Eternal, be sure to share this with them. Please leave a like, leave a comment, and if you'd like to see more videos like this one, please subscribe. It helps me know that people are interested in these kind of videos and will result in more of them in the long run. Now, down in the description you can find all of my social media links. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and if you would like to support the channel in a more personal way, you can become a heroic patron on Patreon or a sponsor right here on YouTube. As I'm sure you know, all of my time and energy goes into making these videos that I create for you to enjoy, so your support is most appreciated and welcomed in any and all forms. So thank you very much for watching, thank you for supporting the channel, and I'll see you very shortly in the next video. I'll see you there soon.